Welcome to the second part of the big conversation where we are telling you all you need to know about the National Population and Housing Census that's expected to take place the night of August 24th to 25th, and why this exercise is so important. My guest in studio this morning is Director Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University Nairobi Learning Center, Salome Agnes Awor. To be part of this conversation, you need to post your question or comment or observation on our Facebook page KBC English Service, or on Twitter at KBC English. The hashtag is BreakfastKBC. So just before we carry on with the conversation, Salome, a number of questions coming through. Ondicho says, why wasn't this amalgamated with the registration of Huduma number to cut down on costs?
A Huduma number has just come in. Census is in the Constitution. It was enacted and it should only be done after every 10 years. It would be such a gruesome job to do Huduma number and census. And so we should not mix things. These are totally different things and they need to be done differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
The census really make an impact, or is it just data collected, analyzed, and then shelved as we wait for the next census, like road accident data?
Not at all. I hope he has been listening. I say census is the one that informs government policies. It also informs government on development projects. It also informs government on economic issues. And it also informs government on medical issues of its citizenry, and it also informs government on its security. Just the way I told you, if we have a lot of migrants, we have to ask ourselves, why are these people coming to our country?
Okay.
What are they bringing? And why are they staying here? And then about roads and development, we see roads being made. People don't ask themselves, why is our area not developed? It's because we are not informed about how many are you. Do you really need the roads? Do you need wide roads or just rural roads? Or one single lane road? Yeah.
Okay.
So census is a very important exercise, and that's why I keep on encouraging Kenyans. It's your civic duty to participate so that you don't blame government when you see policies are not implemented.
That's why we have MPs. You know, MPs are supposed to legislate, but in Kenya we've made our MPs the people who build roads and promise to construct dams and so and whatnot. So what about someone who would argue that our MP knows we don't have a road? They can go and say that in Parliament.
Kenyans, we are always informed with words that MPs use in the campaigns.
Yes.
I'll build for you roads. Roads is not that's a national government duty.
It's not the job of an MP.
No, it's not his job. His job is to legislate, be able to come up with good policies that government can implement. But you see, our MPs brainwash because that's what Kenyans want to hear. That's what they long for. Good roads, good hospitals, good schools. I mean, where does the MP have the money to do that?
Well, it's by politicians for their personal gain in power bargaining.
In Kenya, numbers count. But actually, the truth of the matter is, Kenyans are the ones who choose the leaders they want. And when we choose people that we want, we have to carry the baggage that we have. Like people will stand up and say, oh, Governor so-and-so is bad. Governor so-and-so did not choose himself unless they were Vifaranga. Yes. And so actually, the census, as we say, people will bring politics about it. Because in Kenya, we always say numbers count. But no. Have we given away our capacity of reasoning to numbers? Yeah. We are the leaders we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will this census cover Kenyans in the diaspora, and will Miguna be counted?
Miguna is a Kenyan. He has the right to be counted. And I hope it will extend, but we have not been informed about that. But I believe soon before that, the Kenyans will be counted. I think there was somebody who says Kenya should be counted. Even the president himself said. Because you see, Kenyans in the diaspora are very, very important to the Kenyan economy and development.
Yes.
They bring in a lot of money. They bring in a lot of development issues in this country. We have all this that we are seeing is coming up in Kenya in real estate. Most of that is the money from the diaspora. Yeah.
Can I, for instance, decide that I will not disclose my information?
But I say it's a civic duty. And so I would even propose those people who don't take part in census should be jailed. Because they are saying they don't belong here.
No, they're just saying they don't want to be counted.
But they're Kenyans. They're Kenyans. It's their civic duty and is enshrined in the Constitution. that they should participate. Of course, you have a free will to choose not to participate. But if I air that here, and in all the things that have been going around of census, people are not going to participate. They will blame me. They will say that lady who was in the studio
said we can or we
will
cannot.
say we can or we cannot. I still insist it's our civic duty and we should do it.
Does it mean that no proper planning has been done to identify the need to act on the high rate of unemployment?
Today there are people employed. They will take maybe 20 years. The number of youths coming out from school, people who are graduating from universities, are in their thousands. They don't match the employment thing. And you know, we have this thing in our mind that unless we are employed by government, we are not employed. Kenyans, we have to look for other options apart from government jobs. Government right now is not even employing. We are having internships so that just to have people fixed in a place. But then we have to be, Kenyans are very innovative. Can we be innovative enough, instead of always blaming the government, say we are also going to employ other people because of what we've done? Don't just sit and wait for a government job. It might never come. You might be buried without that job coming in. Yeah.
The public service, the public sector not representing the face of Kenya, 10 years later, is still the same, if not worse.
And I'm very happy that both the opposition, represented by Honorable Raila Odinga, our former Prime Minister, and the President of this nation have sat down and thought about a legacy. The legacy that is killing Kenyans is two: tribalism and corruption. And I wonder and I ask myself, how many cars do you need in your garage? You can only drive one at a time. You can only sleep in one house at one time. Why do you make poor Kenyans suffer just because you want to take 40% of a project? Your cousin will take 10% of that project. Your other friend in the ministry will take 10%. By the time that project comes to be done, it's 40%. What will you do with 40%? And I'm advising, there's no need to color code. It's corruption and tribalism. Kenya is a beautiful country. Kenyans are beautiful people. If that can stop, we won't even be discussing about development. It will be done.
Now we're in a devolved system of government.
Yes.
Apart from the national government, can the county governments, for instance, use this data to develop the counties as well?
True. The Kenya Bureau of Statistics avail to them so that the county can be able to implement, to lay down policies and to implement projects that will benefit the different groups within the county. Yeah.
The government is never late asking me questions on matters of my welfare. It did as I registered for the Huduma number, and it is poised to do that again during the August census. Now, my prayer is, can they include the questions? 1, how many nights I sleep hungry, not because of fasting, but due to lack. 2, how many times my merit has been compromised to nepotism, favoritism, and etc. How many times I have been forced to bribe to access the so-called government services. And lastly, the last government chip in the question about my slay queens and how I can be assisted in funding their expensive lifestyles. Oh, Zachary, let's talk about the most important stuff.
I believe the government will ask you about your
Income,
and that will inform them about if you really have food on the table or you don't have.
Toro Liti Vitalis says from County 030, that's Baringo, my opinion is that if youth will not be given the census jobs, I don't see the importance.
The census job is about Kenyans. We might be having a Kenyan who is 50 years old and does not have a job and is an accountant. Does that person not fit to be in the census? He fits. So let's not only turn around only youths. That's going to be a phenomenon that we can't handle. So let's talk about people given the right jobs, who don't have other jobs and are responsible enough, because the census material should also not land in irresponsible hands. It should land in mature adults' hands. So are the youth that we are taking mature enough to handle those data? Because they are very sensitive.
We'll keep the conversation going.
Thank you very much.
My guest in studio this morning was Director Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University Nairobi Learning Center, Salome Agnes Awor, who has taken us through the National Population and Housing Census that's going down next month, and why it is so important that this exercise be conducted, and why you need to carry out your civic duty and take part in this census.